Yo, nada sandirola. Alla manulu basmati rice, white rice. Bara fana mbela fela kilo kade. Anin kulo fana mbela fela kulo fana.
So money bought of 50 kilo jam is 1,600. Uli killing kema wo. La yona da money ni kanya.
Wallahi. Wala na bota na.
So isi joro ke guys. Hani cash buka teriji. Yalo manange kullu defend. Ila yona wala to. Ye bota ra doro ya nakini mbala doro. Ye kulo jo asana de fana kontinue ke mamma.
Ndesani na kamera.
Bata, ya ba kamera. But
yo.
Ata. Apare. Ha, saibe amanto ni kele. Kodo amanto. So ni refta, indasi physical residu di laja, residu fana be bulu jamme. Sai kan baranga mul kuma ni da yene ma ko yera.
Ha, taxi mano, mbak.
Looking for the perfect home away from home in the Gambia? Welcome to BC's Residence, your ideal short-stay apartment in the heart of Bundum. Whether you're visiting for business, pleasure, or an extended stay, BC's Residence offers you the comfort, convenience, and privacy you deserve. Enjoy spacious, well-appointed accommodations in a peaceful neighborhood just behind Nusrat High School. Our residence combines modern amenities with authentic Gambian hospitality, ensuring your stay is both comfortable and memorable. At BC's Residence, you are not just booking a room, you're finding your perfect base to explore all that the Gambia has to offer. Ready to book your stay? Contact us today. +220 941414 bcsresidence@gmail.com. BC's Residence, Bundum, behind Nusrat High School. Your comfort is our priority.
Ja Oil ñoom ñoo jiitu si wàllum jaay essence si biir réew mi te ñu def ko warugal pour kontaan loo suñu client yi borom moto yi ak driver yi seen jaaxare jeex na léegi pour am essence bu baax ak njëg bu yomba lii sax moo tax ñu amal leen banxaas fépp si biir réew mi pour essence bu baax bu set benn place rek la muy Ja Oil soo soxlae essence bu set essence bu baax gasoil wala kérosine naa la wax ne Ja Oil rek mooy jëmukaay ga doxantul rek si bépp banxaasi Ja Oil nga am si bànneex ak Ja Oil seen bànneex mooy suñ taxawaay moo tax ñu amoon leen banxaas bépp si biir réew mi nim gën a yombee pour yow ak suñ liggéeykat yu xarañ yi naa la won ne mbégte rek nga see jël pour am essence bu baax pour say machine fenn place rek la mooy sa Ja Oil ak Ja Oil bànneex kese la moo tax sax suñ station si nekk ca Costa Road ak Banjul wàññil nañ leen njëgi essence bi foofu noonu pour am si lu leer mun ngaa call si 770-8080 322-9070 714-7273 wala 787-1321 Ja Oil, the pride of the nation.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and approved services. Visit our head office at Bruceby opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
Agada
ke mbijan ro aga nyaade
albaka
mbaka important
yo nga transfer la sto
ya transfer la
ha code nyinji
okay important nsila id soto
ha sa so sorry agada
mbijan ro
albaka
mbaka
bara alla service o tariya
mbare
ko ki janna nun kunu bara tariya
jannom yona forest de bureau gambia tonkon na no mbari ya bere birin koyna fo katon
bari si kodo kino katon nim fo bolon labe
56 branches mola sota gambia ja
ha
gambia kono ani gambia e bantala bankol nko kodo kiya bele kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi to poto nin kodi maro jannom number 1 di nyonta andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi mani domorol dir fana beteat gambia dawda yalo ngam fa kendol sotale je
wo moyo diat
apelen da
barka ni na lafta nyelan kendol e binaji
yalo bu kanyi la ko la barka ba
yalo ndel ciosano lo
barka. Hello and welcome to the brunch on Kerfatu Live. I am Lamin Jam. This is our weekly look at news and views that occupies the headlines over the last 7 days. Well, of course, today also our focus will be on the sports because you know now the Gambia National Football Elections is now been slated for August the 29th. And the nominations for the candidates or aspirants who wants to contest will open later this month. Today I have in the studio one of the three people known to be aspiring to succeed Lamin Kababajo, who and alongside his executive members will quit on August the 29th in respect of a term limit which make them ineligible to contest for another term, and that person is Sadibou Kamaso. Now, Sadibou Kamaso is the head of Team Restore Confidence. The team attempted actually to challenge the leadership of Titi Kaba back in the 2022 elections unsuccessfully, that is, and is still back to contest Yen Adora elections. Before we do anything as we do on this program, we'll first introduce Mr. Sadibou Kamaso and allow him to talk us through to his connection with football before we go on to look at his program for the stakeholders if he gets elected on August the 29th. Kamaso, where did it start, your passion or relationship with football?
Thank you, Mr. Cham, and thank you to all the viewers watching this program. It's an honor and a pleasure to be here, being interviewed by the legendary Lamin Jam.
Oh, I don't like flattery.
No, but
go ahead, okay?
But that's the truth. I have always been passionate about football. I have been engaged in football for as long as I can remember being Sadibou. From a young age, where I used to live in Banjul, we had our team. We would go to Forajai to buy jerseys, $2 just to come and print on them. And I've been organizing that amongst, my peers back in the day. We would go and watch Nawetan, Tati Park, and then Bagi Afdai, Box Bar, and then, KG5. And then there were teams that were in my street. There was Natanga, there was Rico. We had all these people. You would carry their boots to go and watch Nawetan.
I remember Rico,
Yeah. Then eventually I started associating myself with the Santos guys in Afdai, and then I naturally became a Santos supporter. When I was in Santos, there was also a guy called Paco Kor, Abdullah Kor. He played for Hawks.
Paco, number 6 nationality?
Yes.
Yeah, Abdullah Kor.
Oh man, I had always admired him. I used to be a winger when I was younger, but Paco's style of play made me become a centre back. He plays at the end of the match, you don't even see him get dirty. And being in Gambia High School, after school we stay to study and I'll watch them train, I'll watch Hawks train. So that affection grew. I started supporting Hawks because Paco was there and then I was at Gambia High, so the connection was already there. When I graduated from high school in 1998, I started my own business. I was doing my own work. I actually work for CETO, that's the Student Youth and Travel Organization, but then I started my own travel organization doing student travel until I went to the UK.
Okay.
But alongside I was working for DBC, Ultrasoft, working with different institutions.
Yeah.
No, when I was in the UK, I came back in 2008. I started Creation Plus. 2009, I joined Hawks.
I see.
Because of my connections with...
this time as an administrator?
As an administrator. Because I was associated with some of the senior members of Hawks.
Yeah.
And I saw some of the challenges the team was going through at the time. So I volunteered to join. They thought, no, this would be too much work for you. And I said, no, I believe it is something I can do. This is something I have passion for. So I volunteered. I joined Hawks and I was appointed Assistant Secretary General in 2009. After a year, I was confirmed as Secretary General because of some of the transformations I brought in, filing and all of those things.
Yeah.
So from 2010, I was General Secretary of Hawks until 2022, when that article came out from Standard to say my signature was withdrawn.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. How did you get, well, of course, through Hawks, of course, how did you get into Gambia Football Federation as an executive member? How did it come about?
Okay, first of all, I remember when I joined Hawks in 2009, 2012, we tried to form a League Clubs Association in 2012. This was during Sidi Kinte's tenure.
Yeah, that is like you have the type in Senegal, Dakar Club.
Exactly,
yeah,
League Clubs Association. I still have one of the publications from the Point newspaper. In fact, I was voted Assistant Secretary. In fact, they wanted me to be the Secretary General, but because I was quite new, I told them I'm just 3 years into this, I'm still learning, and then I handed over the position to Ibrahim Amane. But,
what was the League Clubs meant to be? It's just like the setup in Senegal, where this is going to be an affair for only the clubs.
Yes, to try to bring the league clubs together so they speak one voice. So they can be looking at the welfare of the teams.
That would not definitely be very much a happy thing for the federation, for any federation.
Well, at the time, because it was the Sidi Kinte executive, and most of the people who were there, I think we were all oppositions at the time. When the League Clubs Association was being formed.
Exactly.
Now, I was quite new. That was 3 years into football administration.
Yes.
And because they saw my administrative acumen, they thought I can vie for the Secretary General position. And I thought, no, let me hand this over to somebody who's more senior. And Ibrahim Amane was the General Secretary at the time.
Okay.
So when I came out, some of the senior members I was with, they said, Buldi, definitely, when we give you a position, take it.
Take it.
Then the Primo Cavallo era came.
Exactly.
When the Sidi Kinte executive was dissolved.
In 2012.
I was part of the team that was representing Hawks going to the Independence Stadium because the normalization committee headed by a late Alaji Obi Konate,
but then
and Alaji Omar
more
C.
actively Omar C.
Yes. So Primo Cavallo came until we went through all the normalization period until we adopted the the GFF constitution instead of the GFA.
Yeah, that's right.
So that time I was representing Hawks as Secretary General. That constitution was adopted sometime in April 2013.
Yeah.
And then
elections came.
Followed, yeah. So during that time when we had to go for elections, there was Team Mamadou Musa and Team Mustafa Kebe. And I was one of the people doing the administrative work for Team Mamadou Musa.
You were Team Mamadou Musa, of course.
I was Team Mamadou Musa.
You were defeated in the elections.
Yes, we were. So I was taking all the notes, doing the statistics and things of that sort. I remember being even offered a position of General Secretary, and I said, no, I am still not ready for these things. But the eve of the elections, one of our members traveled when, the team, felt otherwise, and then they thought we need to adjust the team. So they told me that I should vie for the position of third vice president. But I still wasn't ready. I remember even when I was called the night to say you should vie for the position, I said, I'm still young, I'm not ready. But the day of the election, I was nominated there, and I pulled out. If you check the point list, I pulled out. So the Mustafa Kebe executive won the elections. We all went back to our respective clubs. When they had the issue and then they got dissolved again in 2014, we were asked to go back and go back to the drawing board and form our teams.
Yeah.
And during that period, there was the Mustafa Kebe camp, there was the Mamadou Musa camp, and we went back to meet. Now, in our meeting, when we were forming the team at the time, I remember the initial proposal was Mamadou Musa as president, Sadibou as first vice.
You mean after the second normalization?
After the second normalization.
But then after that, some members of the Mustafa Kebe were banned from contesting. Do you remember?
Yes, they were banned from contesting, and there was a police case.
Yeah,
there were issues.
They were taken to police and detained for 1 week.
Exactly. So, but that was them and the police at the time.
Yeah.
So then we just went back to the drawing board to try and form a team again, because what it was, we were going back to elections. This was the Alhaji Silla-led normalization committee,
yes,
Honorable Alhaji Silla, and which was about 3 months. So we started intensive meetings. You had Mamadou Musa was still our candidate as the president. I remember one of the guys there said he also wanted to become president, and Mamadou Musa, being who he is, he said he doesn't have any issues with it. He's a bank managing director. He was just doing this for Gambia. If anybody wants the position, he's more than happy to allow the person to take the position. So we had a team that was Mamadou Musa, myself, second vice president Ibu Fai, and Martin Gomez. That was the initial proposal. Now what they said was there was a lot of fighting. So the two teams should try and form a merger. Let us come together. So they need to see our team and see this other team so we can fix the team. But when they came back and said this other team said they want the lion's share and this other team is asking for the lion's share, we couldn't agree on terms. We had to go for elections. Then I was told that we should give Star Jallo the position of first vice, and I said I'm more than happy because he was a former captain, a finance person. Star came. So I was still in the midst of that team, but I didn't have any position. So Star Jallo came as first vice, Ibu Fai, and then Martin.
But that is you're not talking about Team Kaba.
No, then it wasn't even Team Kaba yet.
What was it called?
That was Team Mamadou Musa.
Yeah, but I mean, this is second election.
Yes, Kaba came in after when. I'll explain how. That's why I'm.
That's what I'm trying to say. Because the second election, that is when Kaba's team.
Yeah, Kaba came in. Kaba initially came as a mediator.
A mediator. That's what I'm saying.
We were there. I remember the meeting that we had. They said the two teams should meet, and they proposed President Bajo to come in and mediate between the two teams.
Yeah.
That's how we came. But along the line, we were told that, according to what I heard, that the government wanted Kaba to be the candidate.
Okay.
You understand?
Okay,
That's what I heard.
Yeah.
But we found out later that was not a government position. So when they said it was Kaba, and Mamadou Musa had, rightly, even the first time when somebody said they wanted the position, he said he is more than happy to allow this to happen. He just wanted to do his court, play his part, and ensure that Gambian football moves. So when they told us Kaba is the candidate, according to them, they wanted to, what language do I use? Because there was this tension between the Banjul and upcountry.
Yeah, it was
and
always
Kaba
like,
being an ex-diplomat, a former minister, would be a perfect match
because
to come and fix
he has both a provincial background and perhaps maybe you said allegedly government backing.
Exactly. So that was how Kaba came in. And even when Kaba came in at the time, President Bajo didn't have a team. So we wanted something to happen. Then there was one of the teams offered to make him a president, and then he came, and then we started.
Was that Bombard?
No, it wasn't Bombarda.
It
was KGI that turned to BK Milan. It was KGI at the time.
That turned out
to be BK Milan, and BK Milan turned out to be Coli Stars. So that was how Kaba came in, and then we went into campaign. We went against Bakari Boubacar Mbaye Boja, and we won by 3 votes. That was in 2014.
Okay. Then you become an influential member of the team Kaba.
Yes, I was in the finance committee in the first year,
yeah,
2014 to 2015, because even when I was there, so many issues that I had seen that I was not comfortable with, which I brought to the attention of the president, to say I believe we should be able to do these things this way. If it doesn't happen, I resign, and that's what happened. I resigned after 1 year, you know. And when I resigned, the senior members of my team called my attention and said, "When you resign, it doesn't fix the problem. You stay." And you raise the red flags, you make sure your point was known that in the meeting, this is my position. The minority doesn't move the majority, but at least you will be on record to have done something. So in 2018 now, when Team Kaba was going for their second term, that is when I was approached to be the campaign manager for Team Kaba.
You came back.
I came back. I was approached to say you should be able to do the campaign and all of that. And even at this time, people keep saying he's in a rush. I could have said I want a vice president position.
So you campaigned for Team Kaba and you won. They won.
I campaigned for Team Kaba, yes.
Against, I think this was
Malik
Silla.
That was against Malik Silla. We won.
Then you become automatic executive member.
Then I was co-opted.
Co-opted member.
Yes, I was not automatic. It was during when he won the elections. Then he announced that he co-opted me to.
And you continued to serve in the finance committee.
Yes, I came in the finance committee this time around as vice chairman.
Vice chairman.
Yeah, and I was co-opted. When I was co-opted, I was serving in the emergency committee, which is the president, the 3 vice, and myself as secretary. So I was privy to a lot of, a lot of information.
So everything was so nice until the period leading up to the 2022 elections, when you become an opposition leader. How did that happen? How did you break away from that?
Well, for me, I've always said a promise is a debt. I was the face of Team Kaba in 2018.
Yes.
I went around campaigning, and there were people that were clearly not happy with Team Kaba from 2014 to 2018. It took a lot of convincing as a campaign manager to talk to them. And some of them were telling me, if you guys don't deliver, we'll come after you. And I made that undertaking. If it doesn't work out, I will come out. Because that's the undertaking I took to convince some of these voters. To say, if it doesn't work, I'll be the first to come out. And this is the same thing I told them. That's why even this 2-term limit came during the 2018 campaign period. Because some of the people were saying, okay, you guys have done this, and now we want to give you 1 more term. There should be a term limit, the 2-term. And the first person who raised that is Aliou Bey, the president of Walidan. He was the first person that mentioned it, I remember. And then we went to OACC, he mentioned it, and I spoke to the president, and then they had accepted that there'll be a 2-term limit. But it was an undertaking that if we promise the stakeholders certain things, we should deliver. And there are quite a lot of things that I saw I was not comfortable with. I'll, make mention of them in meetings, but it was an undertaking that I took, and I had to stick by that.
So you knew what your team had promised. Your team was not delivering on that. By principle, you felt that you need to.
Certainly, some of the projects I remember in 2018, we went to Bansang, we went to Kiang, we went to Kuntaya, we went to Busumbala, the fun fair, we went to Gunjur. All those projects, we invited people, all money spent, tents here, chairs hired, entertainment, to say we are going to start projects. None of these projects ever even kicked off the ground. Well, they kicked off the ground on paper, but there was nothing to show for any of these projects. Lights here, pitches here, promises of certain transformations. They didn't happen.
What? And because of those things, you felt that you need to go out?
Like I said, I made an undertaking to if I come to you and tell you, give us your vote to transform football, and you tell me what you envisage, what you want to see, and then you tell me, if it doesn't come, we'll attack you, and I tell you, we are promising you we will do this. If we don't, I'll come out. I needed to stay true to my words. Even if I was not leading the team, presto confidence, I was still going to be on the other side.
But given your position, you would have known you would have known the reasons it didn't happen. Was it incompetence, corruption, or there was unavailability of funds?
Funds were available. Funds were available, because the thing is, the way FIFA operates is the forward one, because there was FAP.
Yeah, the FIFA
before forward program. One, then
now
yes.
FIFA forward.
Because in forward is Infantino's idea. His manifesto. If you look at Infantino's manifesto, it's called forward. So he came up with the idea. I had to read that the whole manifesto. Now, what Infantino was giving was $6 million in 4 years.
$6 million in 4 years, okay.
2018 to 2022.
Available in installments.
$1 million every year for operational support.
Okay.
That is 500,000 in January, 500,000 in July. And then an extra $2 million for specific projects.
Dollars.
Yes.
Yeah.
$2 million within the 4 years.
Within the 4 years, okay.
So what Infantino said was the rationale behind it is they understand some African countries are not very much financially endowed. So in order for them to be able to cushion themselves with infrastructure, if you make a certain amount available to them, they should be able to adjust their pitches and infrastructure.
Exactly.
But they were not giving them the money in one lump sum, knowing how,
Of course.
Yes. So what they did was the money will be there available for you. What you do, you write a project proposal, and there's what they call contract of agreed objectives. You write a proposal, there's a form that you will fill, and then you will send to FIFA, they will look at it. In fact, even before that, FIFA organized a training called the forward training, where
so that people can know how
go and train
how to access those funds,
how to access the funds and how to spend it. In fact, the federation would boast that Gambia Football Federation was always the best, the model.
Yes.
That was on paper, but practically
they failed.
We were the worst.
Because I had you people, Guinea-Bissau and other federation, FIFA members, were tapping on your experience, on
paper.
On paper.
On paper, yes, they will go with the presentation and things like that. But when it comes to delivering, that's where the problem lies.
Okay, so this 2 million FIFA forward, and then the Gambia Federation.
And aside of that, the guys would go for training to understand. That is the first vice president, the finance director, and the general secretary. So they even understand how to use these funds.
How to draw projects that can be able to access these funds.
Yes.
Okay. According to you, funds came.
Yes.
And then the projects
stalled. Okay. See, you know what was causing the...
Because I remember a press release from the GFF apologizing for the delay in the implementation of the projects, because that particular, it was too bad that there were not footballs in the Navetan, for example, was not played in many centers that were promised to have been upgraded under that program, isn't it?
One thing I am sure of, there are contractors who had received money and did not deliver.
They received money and did not deliver?
They did not deliver.
I have no reason. You were sure of that?
I got the documents afterwards. I don't sign checks. I don't approve payments. I remember the issue came at the executive meeting one time where we discussed the reason why, because there was a project manager, and there was a tug of war even in the executive that the project manager should explain why all these projects are stalling. And we got to realize that there were some contractors who received money and didn't deliver. It was even a concern at some point that the federation deployed people to go and check all these projects and talk to these contractors. I remember raising the issue to say if any contractor collected money and has not delivered, we should take them to court. But what I had was, well, there were times that we had also delayed in our payments. We shouldn't, but delaying a payment does not mean
non-payment.
Non-performance.
Non-performance.
So contractors had delivered, because the guy who, the first contractor for the swimming pool collected money and didn't deliver.
The swimming pool at the gold project?
Yeah, a second contractor in fact finished the swimming pool.
I see.
There was also another contractor who collected monies for the other pitch at the gold project.
Okay.
He didn't deliver. They cleared. The lights project, this Banjul Serekunda West Brikama, those lights were supposed to be 1,200 locks. They were 200 locks. So they have not delivered as per expectation. So I know, I have the documents, but a series of contractors. So when you were supposed to get the contractor to perform to the amount that was given, that is what you show FIFA to say, the monies we have given this contractor, he has delivered up to this amount. But if the contractors don't deliver, you need to get extra monies from FIFA. FIFA will tell you, we want to see proof of where you spend the money.
And you think that's what stalled it?
I know that is what stalled them. So then a new project will be created.
Yes.
Because we are the best thing when it comes on paper. A new project will be created. The funds earmarked for that, we'll put some here and we'll put some here.
To finish the old one.
To finish the old one and also touch here.
I see.
But if the monies were being put on in those projects, we would have, because the contractor already provided an invoice. The money is available. It's called contract of agreed objectives. The fund is there with FIFA, and this is the amount you're asking for. So it's just for you to deliver. They'll give you 10% or 20%.
So you want to say those projects delayed, not because there wasn't money, but contractors were paid and didn't deliver. And FIFA held back, of course, because they wanted to see the progress that's made on the other.
Yeah, there were even consultants. There were consultants that were.
So new
paid.
projects were designed, and when funds came, those funds were shared between the new ones and the old ones.
So that's how we got all the 14 projects. The only project that I would say was completed is the vehicles, because that was turnkey. It's also a FIFA Forward project. You know, the vehicle the president drives, the one GFF 1, GFF 2.
You want
GFF
to say
3.
they prioritized that because
it was part of the projects.
Yes.
And the two buses, it was and the two buses that they had that got, you know, that are not roadworthy anymore. Those were all, but those were turnkey. You just have to
meaning there is no way that can be delayed because I mean you just bring it and get
exactly.
paid. Okay. So you said because of all those things, you have observed that if you continue with this team, you definitely would be categorized in the same. By principle,
Certainly.
You cannot continue.
Certainly, no. My conscience wouldn't allow me.
You started making a plans to run against the team.
I did not even start making the plans. That's the
I
funny
remember
part.
it was said that you were persuaded and approached by even members of the team.
Yes.
Whom you felt later betrayed.
Mr. Cham, see, I'm the type of person, I speak my mind.
Yeah, I want us to go back for people to know where.
Yes, I'll get there.
Yeah.
I'm the type of person who speaks my mind. In the executive meetings, I don't, go beat around the bushes. I will tell the president what my position is, and my president and I had a very good relationship.
It was said, before you go, it was said that at one time the president, Kaba, whether, publicly or secretly, had admired you so much that members of the executive were a little bit jealous that you probably might be, at the time, you probably been groomed for possible success. Some said this is what led to your falling out.
Well, people said that, but for me, I believe succession should not be based on someone grooming you. It should be based on performance. I don't want to be.
But he was giving you a lot of attention. You were winning a lot
because I was delivering.
Admiration.
I was delivering. It didn't come by chance. It didn't just come out of the blue. I was any committee that I made sure I delivered. I was giving 110%. I remember an executive.
We were not inside, but we were hearing. Oh, yeah, Kaba is getting to trust this Kamaso so much.
I deliver. I remember an executive member even said one time, "Is Sadibou the only person here that has to serve in all these committees?" But any committee that I am in, I deliver. I mean, it's based on that. People were thinking I work at the federation. I don't. And in fact, the idea of me coming to vie for the position came to me in 2020. And I said, this can wait. People told me about the idea, and this was a time when you're bringing ideas and things like that. But when you say these, certain things happen. So you feel, is this the team that I should stay with? Because, like I said, promises were made, and those promises were not being kept. And individuals who I had given the promise that if things don't happen, I'll be out, were contacting me to say, we said this, and it is not happening. And I keep telling them, I cannot tell you what we discuss in the executive, but I can assure you that I'm doing the needful. So when I was approached, that's when I had to go and talk to my team to tell them this is the proposal that I have received for me to vie for the position. And I got the approval and the blessing of my team. At the time, I got back to these people and said, I am ready. Let us embark on this rally. Going inside.
You were then backed by senior members of Team Kaba, like Lantombongs and others at the time. Yeah. People felt that, well, something must be wrong, because if Lang was very close to the hierarchy, could back Sadibou, then definitely there must be something very wrong. But towards the end of your campaign, even the controversy that happened on the day of the elections, and the tension finally, and then you yourselves, admitting that some members who had earlier pledged support and, and had, demonstrated, disagreements with Kaba, later betrayed you.
Yeah, which I fully respect and understand, because they had liberty to choose whoever they want. But that was something that was agreed upon.
So at what point did you think they betrayed you? On eve of the election or the election day?
I wouldn't call it betray. I think it was a change of choice.
A change of choice?
Yes. They chose me.
Yes.
And then after they decided to choose another one. So it wouldn't be
a
bit. Well, I'll rather say
you don't want to harm them now because you still need them.
No, not that. They know, but I say it as it is.
Yeah.
It's a change of choice. I mean, going along the line, I remember one of them calling me to say, that proposal that we had talked about, I think it should be further. I said, no, but this is the time we discussed. But I accepted.
They wanted you to delay your ambition. Until now, perhaps.
Till 2026.
Which is today. Maybe you were in a hurry. If you had waited.
No, I wasn't. Then we would have been undermining President Bajo. You cannot be in that executive and you're saying you're eyeing, that would have been an undermining. And like I said, if the idea emanates from them and comes to me and I ask for time to do my, consultation, if it was 2026, we would have waited until Kaaba finished. And the time those people brought that, most of these people were vexed and angered by a lot of things that were happening at the time. It wasn't all rosy. You heard about the audio between General Tamba and the president at the time.
Yes.
We had other people who were, there were people who were having a go at each other.
Yeah, we had, there was a time when people in the contract committee were changed or something like that.
Things were changed. No, it was the project manager that was changed, and then a projects and contracts committee was established.
Yes.
And a procurement committee was established. Even some staff members were part of this thing. Some of whom you felt, they were either going to lose their jobs or they were getting in trouble, and then they decided to, show allegiance to this group.
Yeah.
And then after they got new promises, they decided to go to the other side. So, which is all normal.
I see.
Yeah, but it was a change. It was along the way, we started seeing some people changing. Because whenever they realized, okay, we've seen this guy warming up to, because I didn't hide it as well. I said it there. I didn't hide it. And I was coming to executive meetings. They knew that I was going to do it. So some of the people, when they realize a particular person is, associated with Sadibou, they'll approach you, maybe make an offer, that is hard to resist, and then you switch. So when we start talking, then if I realize that your tone has changed compared to how enthusiastic you were, I know,
you're beginning to sense that
things have changed. But we ended up with more of people who were not initially in the team than people who started it.
I see. So you mean the initiators left, but others were convinced by your program, they came on?
Few of them, very few remained.
So the election results were declared. You scored 23, is it?
25.
25 out of the 77, it would have been.
Yeah, the president scored 51. There was one invalid vote.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So you're now going not against the president per se, but then he's already thrown his weight, he and his team, behind Musa Jambe.
Which is normal. You can always support because it's football. He comes from a club, and every individual coming from a club should be able to support whoever you wish to support. But what I see is you cannot handpick anyone and impose that person on the people. I mean, if you look at the history of Gambian football here, I don't remember any FA president leaving and trying to handpick anyone.
Exactly. It appears to be like conventional politics, and the NPP or the UDP or the AFRC should be worried about who succeeds them.
Yeah, if you leave those who have played their quota in terms of football governance here, served, and after their tenure they left.
Maybe they are worried about stability, or perhaps they think that you and the other candidate came are not capable to maybe, as they say in quotes, continue their success.
But Mr. Cham, you already said that people were saying I was going to be Kamaso.
Yes, that's right.
So they know what I am capable of.
Yes.
This is something I don't want to boast about, but they understand what I bring to the table, my administrative and business acumen. This executive understands that. What they also understand that I'm not the type you can remote control to do things. I've told people I chose integrity over loyalty because I believe it's integrity that will be there for posterity. I am loyal to people when I'm loyal to people, but when it has some question marks over our integrity, both parties, then I'll rather we focus on the integrity than the loyalty. So they know what I am capable of. I was co-opted and I was a member of the emergency committee. I was a secretary to the emergency committee. I served in different committees. I would travel with the national team using my own fares, not federation fares, not federation air ticket. I would volunteer, I would lend them money. I gave my all to the federation when I was there. I will print for them for free the awards or tickets and things like that. I will make sure these things happen, whether it's activity reports. I was doing this thing for the work to move. So they understand what I bring to the table. I told you I was at Hawks for 1 year and I was promoted to Secretary General. It was also based on my performance. I'm not going to sit here and boast, but I am the type that delivers. I am the type that delivers. So there is no question about my potential to run Gambian football. The question is he the type of individual that we will ask him to jump and he ask how high? Or is he going to ensure that it is Gambian football he sees first than a particular individual?
Okay, moving forward now, now that the battle lines are drawn, yeah, so to speak.
It's a three-way battle there.
Three-way battle, yeah, the battle lines are drawn, so to speak. It was at that time when I was talking about when you had a very good reputation as a very efficient and effective member of Team Kaba. Like I said, it was then that we heard that, well, Sadibou was a victim of jealousy because, at some time Kaba was beginning to trust him a lot over the big wigs in the executive. And that's what, created jealousy. And they're now fighting him, or trying to divide him, separate him from Kaba. And some said they succeeded in doing that. But it was at that time that I can say the only but about you started coming out, and that is, well, is that not the person who carelessly or maybe in quotes deliberately took our money, saying that the money got lost in transit in Morocco when he was going to Angola as our advance party. I remember this was the first program where you said yes, something like that happened. Then you explained the situation. Yeah. I remember it was here first. Yeah. Now, people were surprised that this thing happened, and you started repaying. In fact, nobody had it until at a time. It
happened in 2019. In fact,
it happened in 2019.
It only came out in 2022.
In 2022. So people want to believe that this was leaked internally.
Yeah.
Because they fear that you probably are not falling in line anymore. Is that the case?
They thought that was going to shut me down. See, when the issue happened, when I suffered that predicament, some people were saying, in fact, now he will stay quiet. He thinks he will talk about everything now. He will raise the red flag on things. And I said, this would not stop me because I had started paying. They were surprised that I had already started paying. Because when I went to the director of finance to say, give me an account, I need to pay this money, he said he didn't have any authority from the executive. If it was a pressing issue for the executive, they would have discussed it instantly.
So they didn't know. Who did you first report this stuff?
Emergency committee. When I was in Angola, the day I got to Angola, that's when, I told people, I said the envelope was a small one, this letter size.
It was containing foreign currency.
Foreign currency, yes.
Dollars.
Yes.
$25,000.
No, it was in 25.
Was it 14 or?
No.
Nobody knows what the figure was.
Yeah, it was in 25.
What was the figure?
The part of the money was given to Usman Drame. Cho, as the team manager.
Yeah.
Because it was the total sum that we needed for the team.
Were you traveling with him?
No.
Or you went alone?
I went as advance party to go and pay for the hotel.
Yeah.
But when he travels, most of these players, when they travel from their original locations to the airports, they ask for transport refund or extra suitcases and fruits and banana, or when they're in transit, they need to buy foods and stuff.
Yeah.
So I given him about 5,000 from that money.
You give Cho that?
Yes. Usually he would give me an account of everything he spent with receipts.
Yeah.
So I had given him some. That's why Cho was one of the people, in fact, who said, if you're paying this, I'll pay it with you. And I said, no, don't worry.
So how much exactly got lost?
About $20,000.
$20,000?
Yes. And what happened was, I was in fact supposed to repay 16,500 euros. If you ask me how, I'll explain. Because the amount I was given was supposed to cover the hotel, accommodation, and food and everything. But because in my previous trip, they had given me about $30,000 to go and pay for accommodation and everything, because I didn't even negotiate the rooms at the time. I was just given the money as head of delegation to go and pay. But when I got to Angola, I didn't even stay in the hotel the first night. I stayed at the honorary consul's house. So I went to the hotel, I sat with the general manager, and I said, this is the 30,400. This is what we are supposed to pay. But my federation is not a rich federation. I've seen your invoice. I think we should be able to negotiate. I am a businessman. I can promise you, if we are to come back in Angola, which we will certainly happen because this is the World Cup qualifiers. We're coming here again in November. we will come here. We will not even take quotations anywhere. I mean, you negotiate when it's business.
Absolutely, yeah.
So we negotiated. There were, like the lunch was about $40 or $50, dinner and things like that. So we started going through the invoice. So if it's 50 here, we'll cut it to 30. If it's 30 here, we'll cut it to 20. The room rates were also reduced. So we managed to save about $6,000. And during that trip, I didn't even have per diem. I didn't even have allowance, because that's how poor we claim to be.
So you were using your own funds too?
I was using my own funds to take care of me until I come back for them to refund me. So when I got the $6,000 change, the general manager looked at me and he said, "You are an honest guy." I said, "What do you mean?" He said, "People will rather ask for a 5% commission or 10% commission, but you got the money and you immediately called your people in front of me to say you saved money." When I called them to say I got 6,000, they're like, "How did that happen? You got money exactly?" I said, "No, I used my business negotiation skills to be able to save, and I brought the whole money back." Yes, I have a receipt. When I brought it, I gave it to Director of Finance. He signed and gave me a receipt to say he has acknowledged. In fact, on a white piece of paper, because there was no receipt, so I said stamp it, and he stamped it to say I have brought the $6,000 back.
That was before this incident.
That was the first trip.
Okay.
Nobody talked about, oh, Sadibou has gone.
Sadibou has gone and made and saved for $6,000.
In fact, because of that, and another incident that we had was the reason why I was chosen to go again. Because normally, when you go this trip, somebody else goes the next trip.
Yes.
But there was an incident that was there, which I had already established some relations with the Angolan guys. They wanted to use it to,
of course, you've already, naturally you would have been deposited.
So they said,
any logical person would have.
And it had issues to deal with our players. It was going to put our camp in chaos.
So you were chosen over
I was chosen. The president said, "I think this is better for Sadibou to go." I went again. But the first trip I went through Ethiopia. And Ethiopia, they'll give you visa on arrival. So I went to a hotel. But Morocco, I didn't get a visa on arrival.
You have to stay on the land.
So when I got to Angola, in the hotel, when I wanted to go down to pay, was when I realized that the envelope that I had was either swapped, because it was just a white envelope. They had cut some paper to the exact size, put it in the envelope, and put it in my bag for it to look like the money was there.
But have you been separated from your bag at any point in Morocco?
I was in Morocco for over 13 hours. Transit.
You can't remember putting your bag away from
No, the bag was with me.
All the time?
Okay. Like I said, I slept at some point, which was inadvertent. It was 13 hours delay. And I left here late hours. I got there around 6 o'clock. It was cold. It was November. It was winter time and all of that. So it happened. I was there until the other evening before I went to Angola. So my bag was always near me, and it was in a lounge. The Moroccan gendarmerie, I know when I went through the security screening, they saw when they scanned, they saw the money, and they asked me the source of the funds.
When you were going through?
Yes.
They asked for they saw the money and asked for it?
Yes.
So you mean it didn't get lost, actually, until you boarded the plane?
Between passing the security, no, when you get to Casablanca, you go through security.
Yeah, I've been there.
Then you go and wait in the lounge for the next flight.
For the boat. Yeah.
Then this new terminal was not even there. It was in this type of terminal.
So you mean it was your arrival at the airport that they saw the money?
Yes.
Okay.
Going through security.
You went to the waiting room.
I went to the lounge. Before they had this lounge that was at the other side that you pay and go. Yes.
Yeah.
It was in this new terminal.
Yeah, no.
So between that time to Angola, that is where it happened.
Oh, so it could have happened at the waiting room when you were waiting to change the flight.
Something of that sort. Because I cannot sit in front of TV and say, yes, that's where. Then if I knew, I would have been able to.
You didn't request for CCTV cameras. Maybe that could have helped. Because
I only found out when I was in Angola.
Have CCTV.
I said I only found out when I got in Angola. When I went to pay, the envelope, anytime I opened the bag, when I was there, anytime I opened the bag, the envelope is there.
You thought it was the same envelope?
When I got to pay, in fact, that envelope I still have. I've kept it. Because it reminds me.
That empty envelope?
It's not empty. They had papers cut. Yes.
What was in there? Papers.
They cut papers to the size and put it there.
So this guy must have spent some time studying you there.
Exactly.
I don't know why you didn't realize anybody coming near you.
I don't.
Because you must have a lot of time.
Yes, I don't. In fact, even my wife was telling me, don't you think you were gas? Don't you think you were spray?
Yes,
I don't want to think.
And your wife definitely.
My dad would say.
Corrections is valid.
Like my dad would say in Mandinka.
For somebody to remove something and then, know the size of the notes and the size of the envelope. Took time and.
I think I was followed.
You must have,
I believe I was followed.
You must have fallen asleep very well.
No, I believe I was followed. I didn't sleep. Yes, I believe.
From the Gambia or?
I don't know. Like I've said, my dad would say, "Sungo junubi kilim fenti o junubi tang." Right now, if anything gets stolen from you,
I know that money.
Yeah,
it's be killing.
The thief has only one sin, but the owner has 10 sins. Because
the suspicion will be greater on the owner of the car than the...
everyone along the way has lost something. Something has been stolen from you, which is quite normal. And that's why when it happened, Mr. Cham, I was devastated and I called the emergency committee immediately and I said, this is what happened. So we tried to find solution for another money to come. And the general manager there said, Sadibou, you came here last time, you saved $6,000, you took it back, I'll give you extra discount. He gave me extra discount because he told me
after reporting that you lost the money.
Yes, because that's where I realized in his hotel. That's when I realized. He said he was going to Portugal. He's a Portuguese. From Angola to Portugal, and he lost some money, and that happened to him. I lost General Honorary Consul Haji Jawara's suitcase. I checked it in. The suitcase never arrived. After 21 days was when Royal Air Maroc gave me a check of 23,000 thereabout, because according to them, that's the IATA rules. If something gets missing, they can only pay you $5 per kilo.
That was the consul's briefcase.
A suitcase, a luggage that contained.
You checked
stuff.
that for him.
We checked it in. He asked me to bring it, because you have 2 luggages.
What was that content? Money?
I don't think it was money, but he gave it to me to check in, and
it was valuable things.
Yeah,
he said you never know what's there.
No, but he showed me some of the items. It was valuable, but the suitcase got missing. No drugs for sure. He's a diplomat.
So, and the airline refunded
$23,000. We got the check. It was a check. I still have that receipt.
$23,000.
Dalasis, sorry, $23,000.
Okay.
Because they only pay you $5 per kilo.
Okay.
As per the IATA rules, and that also took 21 days for them to, and that was between Angola back. So the whole trip going, I had the issue. Coming back,
you had an issue with the...
And this time around, it was a suitcase I even checked in.
That was a terrible trip for you then.
But some of the executive members were saying that money was the charity why we won. So that's why when they came out to say Sadibou stole the money or he...
Yes, nobody... So when we reported the emergency committee, $20,000 lost, nobody had anything. Everybody accepted your story because obviously they know...
In fact, some were telling me, don't worry, we'll find a way to fix it. But I knew it wasn't going to be. Yes. So immediately...
You started paying?
I started paying. Because when I went to the Director of Finance to say, give me an account, he said, no, I don't have any directives from the executive for you to pay this money. Blah. I said, but this happened. And now you hear the rumor in the office.
Yes.
So give me an account. He said he has not received any directives. I went to the assistant, that was Dauda, and I told him Hawks was fined and we needed to pay the fine. That was because the federation has different accounts. So you need to be sure which accounts you're going to pay the money to. So when he gave me the account for fines,
that's when you know where to go.
I started putting it there. So the Director of Finance one time called my attention. I've seen you putting 50,000 here, 30,000 there in the account. This will have issues on our audit. I said, take it as a fine. Take it as a fine or whatever. But no one has said anything. People have told me we'll find a way to cover it up, and I don't want to be a party to that. In fact, professional player, Musa Baro, offered to pay the money there in Angola. He came, he saw me devastated, and he said, no, let me pay it, and I said, no.
Which you could have accepted.
No, it happened to me, and I wanted to pay from my sweat. If I had accepted it too, they would have said I played trick on the boy.
No, but okay, you had already reported this to...
I reported it already. Okay. They came, because I was there as advance party before the team came.
Okay, so you said you were going to pay it. And you got receipts. How do you get receipts if they didn't want you to be paying them?
No, from the bank.
Oh, okay.
The bank payment receipts.
Slips. Oh, yeah, that's
the bank payment receipts, which I kept until the time the president called me in his office one time to say that money issue, I think is better we set up a commission of inquiry I said, I'm happy to go and face any commission, but I already started paying. He said, really? He was surprised. I said, yeah, I had already started paying. I have my receipts. I said, but I'm more than happy to. And the commission sat at the GNOC building. In fact, they had called other people before me. And when I sat and put all my receipts on the table, they were even surprised.
But this was before it was leaked, or it was after it was leaked?
After.
The investigation come.
No. The investigation was before it was leaked.
Oh, before it was leaked.
Yeah.
Okay. So
there was happened in 2022.
Okay, so there was some effort by the executive to look into the circumstances. Because
the rumor was going around. Because some were telling me, let's fix this.
I see.
And I had already announced my candidature.
Okay. So
the rumors was going around.
So what was the outcome of the investigation?
I still have the letter. They said they had found that I had had made efforts to pay the money even before the commission was established, and given the fact that I was providing my own resources, on my own materials to the federation, helping and printing for them for free and things of that sort. The amount that was left should be waived, which was about 700,000. But the time they finished the report, I didn't get the report till some 4 or 5 months after I had continued paying. So I got the report very late.
When you had already paid?
I had already even gone further than that amount. That was when I decided, okay, if the commission says this is the position, I have the letter which was signed by the president himself.
Okay, they said giving your contributions and your...
I provided my vehicle,
your
the coach at one
demonstration of complete honesty. They felt that this was a genuine case of a lost item, and they were able to waive it.
Yeah, the balance.
So this is the only thing that people think critics always point at. So that's how it happened.
Yeah, that envelope that people say the guy who lost the millions in. Well, I paid, so I lost millions, but how much am I?
I mentioned it because people wanted to know what exactly happened.
I'm always happy to answer. Like sometimes I go to places and somebody would call me and say, "That journalist shouldn't have asked." I said, "This thing will stay there for posterity."
Of course, it will stay in the record.
I am happy to answer it.
Actually, it was the first time. This was the first time you ever treated the matter.
Yeah.
When the week they leaked it. Okay, moving forward. So much, what has passed under the bridge now. Sadibou, Team Restore Confidence survived. In fact, people were surprised that you survived up to now and you have not relaxed. You've been, having activities in football, whether it's type of training, providing scouting for people who might not have had opportunity. You even had a fracas with the Football Association and their allies in some areas as to why members should come to attend your programs, etc. You survived as Restore Confidence. That was commendable. But how confident are you that this time around, and this time we are going into your program, you call it the starting 11, that's so aptly with football. If you have a strong starting 11, you can be assured that you probably will perform very well in that match. So let's start with your starting 11. Shall we start with the goalkeeper or maybe the striker?
Yeah,
where do we
that's
start?
Accountable governance. See, coming into the elections, I say every leader should have a vision with your roadmap and the tools. So the vision was to uplift and maintain a preeminent standard in football in Gambia. So we can put the Gambia football governing body on a pedestal for technical, infrastructural and financial self-sustenance. And that gave us the mission, which is to stimulate interest and passion so we can increase stakeholder participation, bring football and its benefits to the doorstep of every Gambian. Losing the elections meant we had work to do, because no one has ever gone for GFF elections here, lost, and gone in again for the second time.
Yes.
But we had a vision, and you've got to achieve. If you believe in something, you need to. So it became an ideology. That was why I decided not to use Team Sadibou or Team Kamaso, because if Sadibou goes out, that's the end of it. So we came up with the name Team Restore Confidence. Then it became an ideology. It became a project. And that was why we came up with the starting 11. Because initially it was even 10 points. Again, Aliou Bey, we eat together, we eat lunch together every Friday. He was asking me, he's like, so how are the points? I said, I've got 10 now. I am thinking of one more. He said, in fact, you should make it 11. I said, yeah, 11 players play on the pitch. He said, 11 players, they play.
Absolutely.
So I said, yeah, 11 players, then that's how the name starting 11 came in. So I was surprised when people came out after and said, I copied their manifesto. They didn't even know the history of how the starting 11 came. Aliou Bey is my witness. He's here. I had 10 points, like most people would do.
Yes.
So he said, 11, then we debated on that.
Some people have 9 points.
Exactly.
President Barrow and his party said 9 points.
So
you deal with football.
Starting
so
11, because the idea was to use football lingo so we can stimulate more interest. Then we came up with accountable governance.
That's the number one.
That's the number one.
Is that the striker or the goalkeeper?
That's the number one. The goalkeeper is number one.
So accountability.
Yes, accountability.
Why do you think accountability is important?
Because the GFF has gotten itself into a situation whereby they've lost stakeholder trust,
yes, but
stakeholder confidence.
They said that is because of people like you in the internal politics who
Certainly
who
not.
destroys their name. Their image.
Even before 2018, I was campaigning for Team Kaba.
Oh, okay.
Do you remember
Yes,
the likes of
people still have confidence on you.
my senior brother Issa Jallo and them were coming up. This
we
was
are
Team
coming
Malik.
up. Yeah.
It's not me. These
I
are
see.
things that
Then you were on the other side.
I was on. I was in Team Kaba.
Okay.
So it didn't emanate from me. And
Okay.
politics.
Maybe that's because of how would you call it? Silla, no?
Political statement.
Malik Silla.
There are some people who are now Team Restore. They were Team Malik.
I see. So like conventional politics, everybody's been.
No, I was able to
flip-flopping.
go and meet them and sell my agenda, sell my ideas, and they bought into it. Because we believe accountable governance is the bedrock of any administration.
So accountability.
So it starts with you. If
But
you want
can you widen the scope of accountability? What do you? Because you said the GFF lost trust because they were not accountable. Let's just so to speak.
Yeah.
How are you going to check that? How are you going to correct that?
Mr. Jam, oftentimes you hear the GFF will tell you they're only accountable to the stakeholders.
Yes.
And when they say stakeholder, they say the voters. But everybody who has a stake in football is a stakeholder.
I often said that.
Even Kerfatu here has a stake in football.
I often said
this program you're doing, you have a stake in football.
I often
All the
said.
candidates would come here, so you're a stakeholder.
Yeah.
So if you
Even
say
the fan in Basel.
even the lady selling groundnut at the match, those taxi drivers who wait for match day to come and park at the stadium to drive the passengers back are stakeholders.
Absolutely.
So when you say you're going to be accountable to the stakeholders, it is everyone. You have the primary, the secondary. The primary are those who come to vote, just like the National Assembly.
Exactly.
They represent Gambians. They're not just representing themselves there.
Yeah.
So these clubs who are voting on behalf of their clubs are not representing themselves. They're representing Gambia. Because it's Gambia before Football Federation.
Absolutely.
So if you are claiming to be accountable just to the stakeholders, and then you refuse not to be accountable to the general public, one, they don't come to your matches. That is why the leagues are not very popular. And two, you struggle to get funding from the general public, because when we were even going to AFCON, when they said every Gambian contributes a $1, if every Gambian contributed $1, some will give you, that alone would give you 2 to 3 million.
Yeah.
We couldn't get Gambians to do, because why? You don't want to be accountable to me, and you want me to give you my money. What binds them is the national team. So they'll wait until the national team plays, they go and watch. If they had their way, they would not even pay.
Yes.
But if you are accountable to them, they understand your pain, they understand your challenges, then they'll be able to. Because even the sponsors, when sponsors see consistency and transparency, they fund more. But if they don't see transparency, there's that dark cloud there. They're wondering, how can I support them when they're getting $1,250,000 from FIFA? Tell them how you spend it. Let it be open.
But the GFF claimed that FIFA and CAF, external and internal and whatever auditors have given them a clean bill of health anytime they present their accounts.
No disrespect to the councils, but we've seen the local government council commission. All these people were being audited, and most of them passed. But when there was a forensic audit, a lot of things came to light.
So you mean if you subject the GFF to forensic audit, you will see?
Mamma mia. I mean, just make it open. No one, it's simple. I remember the first debate the first debate was with Issa Jallo in 2018. The second debate was supposed to be between myself and President Bajo, and I was the lone debater there. When I got off the podium.
It seems you are the only one who's ready for debates. Even this time round too, you are the only one who came up. Okay.
No, leadership is presence.
Okay.
And when I got off the podium, a sponsor called me and said, I've listened to what you've said. I'm willing to sponsor an awards night for 4 years during your tenure. And I have another colleague who wants to sponsor the league. The phone was given to me.
Even before you come into office.
When I got off the podium, because they listened. People will say he's a sweet talker, but
people said, well, if this was a general election where everybody will vote, Sadibou will win even before the election starts. But then the problem is the stakeholders.
I think I've become even more popular than the president himself now.
Oh yeah, football. I've often said that. Look, in football, you don't deal with the 77 electorate alone. You deal with there are not many millions in the Gambia anyway, but hundreds of thousands of people are here who you have to deal with, and that's what is happening. Because if you feel that you are accountable to only these people, I mean, millions will go against you, and then you have a problem.
Yeah. I mean, if you are accountable to the people, see, this is how much we spend. Now, in order for us to fund the national team, we want to bring replica jerseys and sell maybe 10,000 jerseys. So rather than having that go with government to say, we've asked government for 10 million, they've only given us 5 million. You bring 10,000 jerseys, you sell them for 1,500. That will add some money to whatever you're doing. You can sell 10,000 easily if you're accountable to the people. People will even ask you, where do you sell jerseys? You understand? So things of that sort, if you do that, then people will understand, okay, these people, this is how much they spend, this is how much. I remember there was one permanent secretary that we met one time when I was a board member. We went to get money from the ministry. It was during Hadrame's time, and he said, I mean, what do you guys need money for with all these millions that come from FIFA? Because you're not accountable to them. He said, we are paying the national team coach, even though it is delayed sometimes, but we pay the national team coach. You're still coming to ask for these monies, and we hear you get this amount of millions from FIFA, and this is what you pay for league price and stuff. Before you do all that explanation, annually, your audited account, send them to ministry, send them to, let them understand, have that dialogue with them and explain your challenges. Send your budgets early to the ministry so they understand. It's all about the governance. It's the way you're running it. If you confine it to those 77 people, that's what you get. So that is why we are going to be transparent as much as possible. We will be accountable to the people. You want to know, we will even publish in the newspapers the statement of account. How much was spent on what? This is how much we've made. This is the profit, or this is the loss. If we're in surplus or we're in deficit. And then we improve the relationship with the government, improve the relationship with CAF, improve the relationship with WAFU, improve the relationship with FIFA. Because if you look at it now, Gambia does not have anybody sitting in any CAF committees. And that is a sign that all is not rosy.
I thought Kaba is in some FIFA
organizing committee before, but not anymore.
Not anymore.
He was in the AFCON organizing committee.
Yes.
And the first vice president, Bakary Jam, was also in the under 17 and
They are no longer there.
No. We don't have anyone. Imagine even Papa Gassama, who's a retired referee.
Yeah.
Is not even in so the relationship.
What does that tell us? You think that's
it's all
because of our image or what?
I wouldn't say image. These are certain internal issues where you have to perform, you have to deliver, you have to do things the way they want them. If you're performing, they'll obviously come to you. How can Mauritania overlap us to the extent that FIFA is setting up a talent development academy in Mauritania?
I thought there's a FIFA academy here as well.
No, that's the FIFA talent.
FIFA talent.
There's a guy that has been hired to do that, but we don't. Where's the academy? What Morocco has is the infrastructure. You saw all the member associations going to Morocco, to Mauritania to launch that. Yeah. Ahmed Yahya, the young guy, came into office when he was 37, 38. Now he's a FIFA council member. He came because of the development he brought in. In 2017, he came in with a vision. From a club that was a country that was 207th ranked. Now they're above. Because of the infrastructure, the programs, the policies he brought in, he eventually got to the point of being a CAF executive member, CAF vice president, and now FIFA council member. So it's performance based.
And that's where you want to see Gambia.
That is why we are coming with this vision, because we believe when you perform, they see what you do.
Absolutely.
If you perform, they see what you do. Let Alhaji Omar see. God bless his soul. Yeah. The guy did so well that he has that respect from Hayatu.
Absolutely, he was quite respected in the football world. Even Haviland. Haviland wanted him to be CAF president in 88.
He sacrificed his position for his country. Yes. That's why when people tell me, I keep telling them, I could have done the FIFA agent's license and become an agent. I travel every other month, alhamdulillah. I could have done that and start making my money transferring players, because I help these agents meet other players from other countries. I would have been making more money than being an FA head. As an FA head, what do you get? Per diems, travel allowances.
Maybe you create a lot of travel for yourself.
But that's why I am even managing some of these youngsters whom I've helped to become professionals. So we need to re-establish that fiduciary relationship.
Okay, accountability. That's the goal. We go to, what is the next?
We have grassroots football regularization and development.
Wow. And that you call that one? That's central defenders?
The grassroots football regularization is one of the defenders.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't want to call central, because when we came out with our manifesto, the other team said they had back for.
They had back for. So you don't want to know which section of the defense is that. But anyway, that's grassroots development. That's
football regularization.
I would have thought that would have been. All you mean is there, but it's not regularized.
No.
Okay.
Grassroots football requires three things: funding, organization, sustainability.
And none is available right now.
Funding is limited. Organization is not very modicum, and the sustainability.
That's an academies association, isn't it?
Yeah, that is not even the federation run. The academies
that's independently run.
The academies are under the regional football associations. But you go to some of these regions, even to register an academy, they don't even have, a structured manner where you can register, get a form to say you want to become part of the region. Some of the regions are doing well, but you have a lot of these academies that are there. Imagine all these coaches who wake up every morning, these kids who are dreaming of becoming the next Musa Barrow or the next Steve Tarawale or Omar Koli. They wake, they go to bed dreaming that I want to be that next, but they cannot fulfill that dream
program.
because so that's why I said funding, organization, and sustainability. And we are going to establish a database where all these academies are going to their different regional football associations to register properly. One, to help them maintain their players so they know the players that were with them. So if a player was with you between the ages of 12 to 21, when they sign their first professional contract, they get what they call training compensation. That came in 1995 after the Bosman ruling, when a certain player,
the Belgian
Jean-Marc Bosman, wanted to move, and the club said, and in fact GFF, Gambia still does a day like you don't have a clearance. That was what brought training compensation. They said you don't need a clearance when your contract has elapsed. Right. So they brought that ruling now. If you've been in certain clubs, they get training compensation, which is which a lot of clubs waive now because of our situation. But the solidarity follows the player throughout the career. Anytime they move, 5% is withheld and distributed.
Anytime they change club.
Absolutely. So now, but how do you get that? It is data that you can provide.
And there has to be some organization.
Yes. So sometimes you see this academy saying the player was with me from 2003 to 2005. This one says, no, he was with me from 2004 to 2000. So their dates even overlap.
So yes, because even in general football, even our work as journalists, you see, when you went to England, you hear people quoting events that happened in football hundreds of years ago. You wonder, what are we doing here? It is a problem now. If you ask me the fixture, Walidan against Masose in 1995 or 92 FA Cup final, which I covered, I wouldn't be able to.
Data and technology, they're the next big thing. So that is why we're coming up with a platform to register all the academies and even the schools, football. That way they're protected. So when these players move, you know where he was or where she was when you're claiming compensation. Because the player can leave you even on ceremoniously if they like. Because most of these academies cannot hold these players. They cannot keep them. The kid will tell you, AJ Soccer is after me and I'm not playing, you cannot offer me this. So they want to move. But if you have your data, it doesn't matter where they move. You just wait for your training compensation.
So much of the conflicts wouldn't have happened. In fact.
No. So that would also help these academies to be able to regulate themselves. And we want to have a system where all of them will go through the same. So not Banjul having this, KM having that, Then the school football also would have an annual tournament. When we were younger, we had school football.
Yeah, absolutely.
The likes of Aliou Jan, the coach of Medina, we were the same batch in Methodist. I remember they were top players at the time. We remember the likes of Karampo. When we were in 96, we were in high school, he was playing in the league. Ox is very famous for bringing youngsters. Keba Drame and them were all playing. So those are the sort of things we want to do. Then you can have the schoolboy internationals and stuff. So school football is proper funded.
Then the third one, we are still in the defense.
Yes.
We had
women's football development.
Oh, women, yes.
I
have often said, women are marginalized, especially under the new constitution, where instead of having clubs voting, you have an association representing 12 or 16 teams, I'm not sure. 22 teams. I felt that they've been marginalized under the new constitution. And any candidate who said, undertakes to do reforms, I will agree with you. How do you want to reform that?
It's part of the constitutional reforms. We've talked about it there, but with the women football clubs, first of all, what we are trying to do is to advocate for them to come as general members. They are going to be coming to the General Assembly like the male first and second division clubs.
Okay.
When this constitution was being done at the time, women's football was not at this level. So what they did was they confined all their votes to just 3. There were about 6 first division clubs and maybe 8 second division clubs at the time. So they confined, but times have changed.
But I think
women's football has gone to the next level.
No, I think we were doing well, because that was you remember when this constitution been drawn up, it was 2012. We had already been to the under 17
in Azerbaijan
World Cup in Azerbaijan.
Yeah.
So no one could say that we were not.
No, I mean the number of clubs.
Okay.
The number of clubs.
But generally,
women's football was still performing.
Yeah.
So what they did was they confined all their votes to 3. But we want to ensure that they all come as general members. But the executive does not have the powers to bring them directly. That's why in our manifesto said we will advocate for it. We'll sell the idea to the General Assembly to say these women football clubs need to be coming here where decisions are made. The same way the men sit. Then you will have the extra 10 female division teams and the extra 12 to be sitting there as well, and making decisions like the men. And then we are increasing their league prize money to $1 million and 700,000 to the runner-up and 400,000 to the third position. Wow. Second division as well, 700, 400 and 250. So that is what we intend to do for the second division female. Now, aside of that, last election we advocated to have a female vice president. You saw that when we brought in Choro Megan.
Yeah, that's right.
We wanted to show that women can do what men can do at that level. A good thing is GFF adopted the idea and they brought in Sadibou Kamaso.
So that position exists now.
It exists because according to the clause is, the fourth vice president whom shall be the president of the Women's Football Association, and that's something we intend to keep.
Yeah.
We have no intention of removing because that's our idea. Yeah. So we're happy that the idea has been adopted.
And also there are times when FIFA give or specially dedicated monies to women football member association, but that don't go direct to them.
Because the Women's Football Association has been made dormant, and that is why we have a different approach to it. The idea for us is to eventually have a women's football that is solely run by women. We have women who have the capacity. If you don't trust these women enough to allow them to run their programs, don't tell them you're trying to bring them as executive. Look at the role of women. It's mostly protocol, match commissioner here, and things of that sort. It's cosmetic attention that is being given to them. We want them to be central instead of just the women's football, because if you bring these 3 women's football clubs, these first and second division, now they're at the decision making table. The funds that come from women's football, give them their funds like you'll give to players association or women, schools football. They will administer their funds and then they can come and report back to us. But if they don't have any funds, they wouldn't even bother going for AGMs. What are they going to report? What would they talk about? But if you have them as an allied association, they should be giving their funding. That's what we intend to do.
Do you intend to keep that women sports committee in the GFF?
There's a women's football committee and there's a women's football association.
Yeah, so is that not the duplication, or maybe
this is an association that is who they are elected.
So is the committee not duplication, or perhaps trying to maintain some of the privileges that should have gone to?
In fact, both of them are not even performing very well because of limited resources available to them. So now, if you're bringing the 10 first and 12 second division clubs to the General Assembly, you probably may not really need the Women's Football Association. Maybe you'll maintain but that is something that we will talk about, because you also have the third division.
Yeah, sure.
But the third divisions are all under the Regional Football Association.
Good. What is next? We're still in the
infrastructural development of international standards.
There has been much, a lot of controversy surrounding that. At the national level, we don't. Well, of course, this. I've seen people sometimes. I don't know how you will take it. If I say people unfairly blame the GFF for that of the Independent Stadium, would you agree?
Unfairly.
Yes. When I said sometimes people unfairly put blame on the GFF for the debacle surrounding the Independent Stadium.
To some extent, yes.
To some extent, it's unfair to blame them.
No. To some extent, it is fair, because why?
Why are the government? Why don't you think they are entirely free from blame on that one?
Because the government doesn't deal with CAF or FIFA to know what requirements the stadium needs, and CAF, FIFA would have been communicated to the GFF throughout to say you need to meet so and so criteria before so and so time, or otherwise your stadium will not be fit to be used for international matches. Right? So CAF never communicated to government. So it was for the GFF to have communicated that to the government and to ensure that government made it a priority. If government is taking it as a priority now, you think they wouldn't have taken it as a priority then if they were informed?
If should it not be the duty of the government to seek the advice of the and invite them into whatever?
No, but government was not communicating with CAF.
No, what I mean is,
Yes.
If government wanted to, the problem with the stadium when I hear people say 300 million has been wasted, I said, no. You cannot say it's wasted. What happened is, the stadium, the integrity of the building, the whole place, is been renovated. That's going to extend the life of the stadium. Yeah. That's not a waste.
No, not at all.
What you probably could say is, okay, if government had concentrated on the criteria to satisfy CAF, standard matches, then you could have said, okay, it would have long been approved long time. I can agree to that. But this delay is a blessing in disguise, because you see it happened before. They just concentrated on meeting the criteria. You remember the first renovation? Was it 10 million something? When we were initially disapproved.
Yes.
And they hurriedly went and did 10 million, renovation just to meet the craft criteria.
Yeah, I remember there was a time when the seats were even written like 1, 2, 3. But that's why I said.
So, but government now is repairing and renovating the whole of the stadium so that it lasts longer now. That cannot be a waste.
No, not at all.
What was unacceptable was they neglected the CAF criteria until a lot of money has been spent on other things, and then we are not playing at home. That problem, like you said, I can understand, is between government and the GFF in a way, because the stadium manager is a member of the GFF.
That's why I was going to
say.
So
he definitely should be able to advise his left hand what the right hand definitely is demanding.
I don't even need to.
So that is where you could blame the GFF to some extent. You are right.
That's why I said to some extent.
Yes. That's
because you've easily summarized. That's what I was going to explain. Exactly. Because government doesn't deal with it. If government can give out 300 million, 400 million to go and play in AFCON, you remember how much money was spent?
Yes.
So if they can spend that, obviously they want to do this.
The stadium. If definitely proper procedures been followed.
If you look at the amount some other countries will spend to build a stadium, we are talking about 300 million. Yes, because it's Gambia, we are not very much financially endowed. Right. It's a lot of money. Absolutely. But what I keep saying is, government was not in any position discussing with CAF to say this is what you want. Yeah. It is the federation that, and you've already said there's a breach in between.
Absolutely.
So but we intend to ensure that.
So when let's now put the stadium aside. Now your infrastructure projects.
We intend to have a standard playable pitch in every region. In the beginning, we don't want to promise a stadium to say we want to, a standard playable pitch. Then we will have a stadium of an international standard.
How are you going to do that? Through FIFA Forward?
Through the FIFA Forward. Look at the Mboyo Field in Serekunda Central.
That was done by government.
That was done by government. That's a standard playing. That's a standard playing pitch. This is doable in every region. From the FIFA Forward.
You mean the FIFA Forward could be able to do this?
Of course. Look at North Star in NBR, Kerjata.
Yeah,
they have a pitch where they play. Ask them if they've even spent $1 million. No, they have not. They have not reached that. They have not reached that.
But all these. So you want within 4 years, you're gonna have only $2 million.
You'll have $3 million.
$3 million in 4
years. For
years.
specific projects.
For FIFA Forward.
Yes, $3 million. Hopefully it will even go to 5 or 6.
Yeah, there's coming one. So if you have $4 million in 4 years, we're talking about that's $400 million or something like that, or more. You have that in 4 years, and you intend to put up standard fields. You think you can cover all the regions with that?
Yes.
In 4 years.
Because the regions that have already will give priority to pitch the regions that don't have any. Because the GFF keeps talking about a decentralized
league.
They have
one in Mansakonko.
They keep talking about a decentralized league, but how is the league decentralized when Ouagadougou is based in the Combos?
In the Combos.
Do you understand?
And it's supposed to be
in Basse. It's a Basse team. Yeah. Medical couldn't afford to sustain themselves. That's why they even had to sell the team, and it's a team from CRR.
Yeah, but it's not just the.
So if you
it's not the home, but the personnel are not there too. They are staying here.
You can maintain. If you have, you can keep some personnel there.
You can get players there who are staying there. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, even the personnel, the staff. All these regions have a regional coach that is employed by the GFF. So you're able to do that. The regions have people who've mastered the art of coaching, who can be good administrators. It's just to build their capacity and ensure the league is decentralized. Just like you said, if the league is decentralized, we should be able to play in Basse. We should be able to play in CRR. We should be able. You've seen the Nyakoi field drawing so much attention.
Yeah,
said
from your experience. I'm not giving an opportunity to criticize your opponents, but from your experience, you think 14 million has gone into that?
I'm not a contractor, but I don't think so. Good one. Now, if GFF claims to spend 14.5 million to do one pitch in Basse, imagine how many $14 million is in $1 million.
In $1 million. At least in today's rate, exchange rates, that will be about nearly 4 or 5.
So which means they can do a standard playing pitch, so it's doable, no?
Okay, I see your point.
That is why we're saying if GFF says Saudi gave them 12, they had to give 2.5 to add to it to do a standard playing pitch in Nyakoi, and they spent 14.5, which means they're able to do a pitch for 14.5.
Yes.
So from $1 million alone.
Even if it costs 14 million. I say even if, because people are doubting whether.
Exactly.
Yes.
Then which means $1 million alone could do your standard playing pitch. Something that you have in Brikama, dressing room and a pitch, the artificial turf or grass, you're not going to spend 15 million doing that. Can we not do that in all these regions? So funds have been wasted. It is clear now. So if GFF tells you they were able to spend 14.5 million, which people are even claiming was not spent there, why did we fail on all the other projects? They've inaugurated that one. Why didn't they inaugurate the other ones? So we are telling you it is doable through the FIFA forward, and we don't even want them to directly give us the money. We don't want to touch the money. We want the monies to go directly,
which is a Gambian problem,
to the contractors.
We want the contract money
turnkey.
to come to us.
We want a turnkey project.
Yes.
Like the gold project when it was being done, not the hotel, but the pitch.
The pitch, yes.
It was a turnkey. So that is what we want. We want a turnkey
like the OIC conference center.
Yeah, we heard
Chinese.
that the Moroccans were sponsoring a pitch in Bansang. Up to date, I mean, we haven't heard it.
You were there at the time, so when that was.
No, that was not the Moroccan one.
Ah, okay.
That was
Saudi one, was it?
When I was there.
Or was it Russian one? Because we saw pictures of Russia. What happened to that?
No, ours was the forward. That was Bullock.
Ah, okay.
Bullock, we changed. Bullock eventually went to Buyam because General Tamba at the time felt Buyam.
How is it that? How are those things? Are they still?
None of them even started. I've seen a few photos a few weeks ago about Kuntaya that a borehole was dug. I'm telling you, 2018. I still have those pictures. My heart bleeds when I see those photos. At 2018, we went there and asked them to give us title deeds to those lands, to the federation. To date, not even one block has been laid there.
So you will put infrastructure in all the regions within
all the regions.
First time.
All the regions. If 14.5 can do a pitch in Nyakoi, we can do it. And aside of that, the regional football associations need to be given respect.
Yes.
They don't have offices, or when you go to their offices, you'll be embarrassed to take anybody there. West Coast, for instance, you know where the office is located. It's inside the market.
In Brikama.
In Brikama. We cannot be spending all these monies on pariems and all other activities. Even when you go to a match, the amount of food they even serve during halftime, that amount can buy you decent tables and chairs that you can put in there to welcome guests. Imagine somebody came there to audit. If I was to really audit some of these things, to go into those places to see this is where you're calling a regional football association, it will be a joke. So we intend to ensure all those people have offices that are in a conducive environment where they can deliver. So the academies can come there and do their registration. Banjul, for instance, doesn't even have an office. They use the Makati Square. KMRFA is using the Manjai Park.
Wow.
Why can't they have their own pitches, their own offices?
Maybe now they will use Nimboyo because that's much presentable.
So those ones too we will work on.
And then the next?
The league professionalization and development.
Oh, that has much recently been in the news. There was a plan. You were there, was it? When the plan was invalidated.
No.
Oh, so
no, you cannot give me a 93-page document.
You didn't even give me the plan in the
No, you cannot give me a 93-page document on a Tuesday. You want me to go on Thursday to validate that. Mr. Cham, would you? 93 pages. I mean, I wouldn't be able to. I personally.
Unless they give it to me a month in advance. Right?
I love reading, but I cannot read a 93-page document and consume and digest it and share the ideas with my team to be able to come and make an informed decision.
But I thought the plan was shared much earlier than this.
No plan was shared. There was a workshop.
Yes.
The workshop?
Yes.
After the workshop, what happened?
Nobody got a plan, the stakeholder?
No, it was just the business plan that was shared with the federation. They sent it to people and said they should come and validate it. How are you validating? You made a promise.
The business plan was first unveiled Sometime in November, was it?
That was the workshop.
Workshop, yes.
Yes.
After that, was the plan not shared among the stakeholders?
No.
Oh, are you sure?
I'm 100% certain.
Ah.
No plan was
I
shared.
thought the plan
Obviously, as a journalist, you would...
No, but we are not counted as stakeholder. I don't know whether
it would come to the media, like they invited the media to the validation.
Yes, that's right.
But ours is different because we have the League Club Excellence Program, the LCEP, which is our flagship program. Because for us, we believe you cannot have a professional league without the clubs first attaining professional status.
I think the same thing is in this.
To have a country, because you should have had citizens.
But I think the same thing, similar things are in this plan too, isn't it? I'm not very quite. I've not.
Yeah, okay. They made their workshop. That's why I said 93-page document. You couldn't have read that.
But your plan anyway was to start with the clubs.
Ours is different because I was lucky to have gone to Morocco to do a study on that. And even before I went to Morocco, I was doing my own research with countries like Uganda at the time. That was because in 2018, like I said, that was one of the promises we made. So I took the initiative to make some research. That's why I kept pushing. So when they wanted us to go on the tour to study the professional league, I was chosen to go with the second vice president, the director of competition. And we went to Morocco. And they explained to us how exactly they started. And those are ideas I've learned from other countries, which is actually doable. There were different phases. Because these clubs are already there. They started with the assessment phase.
Yeah.
You go and assess the clubs because already CAF has a club licensing criteria.
Yes.
Like I keep saying, it is FIFA who decides everything at that level. CAF also decides. So you cannot reinvent the wheel. The laws come from there, so you follow those laws. Whatever you're going to do has to be. FIFA determines the size of the pitch, the size of the ball, the number of minutes you play.
Exactly.
So whatever you're doing has to be in line with that. Now, CAF is saying there are 5 club licensing criteria. That is the legal. You have to be registered as a business, not as a charity. You see, most of these clubs have a constitution and they are registered as a charity. They cannot even conduct business. They cannot own shares anywhere because you are a charity.
Absolutely.
So what CAF and FIFA are saying is you have to be registered as a business and then they can determine who the legal owners of the club are. There are clubs who are here today, you don't know who the owners are.
Yeah.
Because of the structure they found here in the beginning. These people with a deep sense of altruism were just putting in their money.
Is applicable in our Gambian situation?
Certainly, yes. If Senegal can do it. They're saying professional. Senegal started as semi-professional. It's professional to them, but it's semi-professional in the eyes of others. But to them, it's professional.
So we can be able to do something.
We do the assessment. So the legal, sporting, infrastructure, admin, and finance. The legal, you register as a business. The sporting, you have to have a B team. Now CAF is even insisting you have to have a female team to be able to go to the CAF Interclub Championship.
Yeah, that's right.
Today I saw Egypt is even requesting from CAF that the number of teams that come from Egypt to the CAF Interclub Championship should increase to 3 instead of 2. So you see, they feel they have dominated, that they need more.
Yeah, that's right.
So you have the sporting, which you have to have a B team. Then you have to have the infrastructure, that is you have to have your own office and your own pitch. If you don't have your own pitch, you can sign an agreement. Morocco, most of the teams have an agreement with these municipal parks.
Yeah.
So that agreement would show this is your home ground.
Yeah, exactly.
Then you would do the arrangement when these teams come. You will be the one to host them. The admin side is you need to have a contract with all your staff. To show that you are a structured business, like every business operates.
Indeed.
And the finances, you have to have your audited accounts, file your tax returns and things like that. So that's what we intend to do. We will do an assessment because there are clubs who are already in the second division and they are in a position to fulfill some of the criteria. What Morocco did was, if you meet more than half, they'll give you a license.
Okay.
If you meet half, they'll give you a provisional license and insist that you meet to the rest.
So everyone will endeavor to
assessment phase, workshop and training. Then you have the licensing part where, okay, now you will check, once you've assessed them, you train them what you need them to do. Then now you come and do the licensing. Okay, after everything we've done, have you met this criteria, have you met that? Once you license them, you incentivize them. You can go where you can ask for funds from FIFA or CAF because the forward there is for specific projects. So if you have 8 clubs, for instance, like Morocco did, they got funding from the government. If government wants, the government can maybe sponsor. Or you go to CAF and say, okay, we're starting a professional league. We intend to put $10 million in the professional league or $20 million in the professional. It's a viable project. We want to take our league from amateur. How do you intend to spend it? Incentivizing, maybe we'll give each club $2 million to start and the other for operational cost. Then there's a league management company. It's going to register as a company. The federation, I believe, has a phobia for that because they feel the clubs will come. You remember I told you the league clubs? Because the president only has a seat there. He doesn't control it. Even though the federation makes the laws and regulates it, but he doesn't control it.
Okay.
So they can buy shares in other companies, own shares, and do other businesses to ensure that they get money. So if they have 10 million in their account, for instance, they can choose to put 5 million in treasury bills or register for cooperative credit union and generate some revenue or whatever, because now they are a business. Then the federation can focus on that.
But then sustainability, because the money.
Then the incentivization. Once you do that, because now you're doing fan engagement. You're doing.
But most of the clubs are centered such that there's no fan base. Are you looking at those reforms? Like, okay, you might say we had examples that did not succeed. For example, if you say Steve Biko, you call that a Macau community team. You call who else have the clear example like that? That you can seriously become a United, perhaps you could say, belongs to the community. I mean, most of the clubs are not built like that, so they don't have a home base. Because that would really make it easy for them to generate funds. People will be associated with clubs. Don't you think you should think along those lines?
We have thought about it. We've done research. Community engagement has gone next level. It's not how these current clubs, because there has not been any capacity building to do that. I will not give them tips now. These are things we will do. But community engagement has gone. You see, even some of these clubs I help when these small clubs, when they transfer players, what I tell them, if you've transferred a player, you've received 2 million as your first payment. The community you come from, dig a borehole, or contribute to the mosque, or contribute to the church, or contribute to a school there. Yeah. What are you doing?
The community will know about you.
They will know about you.
Yeah.
They'll start telling their kids, na dinungul la wolle be football, yara fam football ko robi jele. Ndekete halis amna fa. You're engaging them, you're stimulating interest. They can buy replica jerseys, they can start following the team. So if the kids are going to watch the game, they know they are going to watch something viable.
Their own.
If the Nawetans are doing it now.
Yeah, the Nawetans definitely have base in their own club.
Because they do community engagement, they make the people belong.
That's right, yes, the Nawetans.
So if you own your club and you sell a player, for instance, and you come from a certain community, what do you give back to the community? CSR. So when you do that, they feel they own a stake in it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Even if you are not giving them money directly, you're building a school or you're contributed to building a clinic or you buy drugs in that neighborhood. I've helped clubs and I've told them and they told me it's working. They bring in replica and people are buying it. So that's it. This is a
that's
free
how it should be.
It's community.
It's much easier than for them to have funding elsewhere.
You see clubs like ASFAR in Morocco, which is a military team.
Yeah, yes, that's right.
You understand? They generate
like
revenue.
Armed forces here.
People buy jerseys and it's an ideology now.
Exactly. But those clubs have not been structured along that. When they were in Banjul, when everybody was in Banjul, yes, every league club has a base or something like that. But when we left, when the league football left Banjul, then we have a problem. I told examples like Steve Biko, that didn't work well.
Yeah, it's some of the breakaways. Like I said, if you're engaging the community, you must be seen to engage the community. No disrespect, I don't know what Steve Biko does for Baka or what Brikama United does for Brikama, but they just need to look at what they can do to contribute in the community, not just play football in the community. What value are they adding? You've sold players, like the Yankuba Mintes, the Adama Bojangs. What are you contributing to? When you do that, the people of Baka will come. Those who are supporting are maybe people who are football enthusiasts or people who have been supporting the team. But what about those who don't really like football? How do you get them? Is by doing that.
Yeah, I remember a tour we had, and it has to be Badibuda, one of the Badibu chiefs. When they came and told, okay, we set up a village development committee, we have a sports committee, we have this thing. I said, oh, that's very good. But then when they talk about sports, football, they say, no. If you all what you said is good except football, because I don't come to me when it's football. It's unfair. So there you go. People has to be identified with something and then before
ideas.
So very quickly, let's go to the remainder, but let's summarize.
Income generation and judicious spending of that.
Yeah, I think we have touched on that, income generation and judicious spending.
Yes, we talked about it initially, but it's one of the 11 pillars. Yeah. Then you have capacity development, building and development, because we feel there should be more capacity. If you look at the data of how many capacity has been, the amount of coaches who have been trained, most of the trainings are just done because CAF requires us to have A license or B license to be able to sit. Now they only few coaches who can even sit on the bench when we go to international matches.
Yeah, Champions League.
So they keep talking about the CAM project, but where's the data? How many administrators were trained? How many medics were trained? That was why we were sharing our knowledge and experience with some of these grassroots clubs, not even GFF member clubs. And, you know, the RFAs, you know, intervene. And this is not something that we started. They would approach us asking us for ideas, and we told them to come together so we can come and do one training. So capacity building, and then constitutional reforms, which obviously would include some of these things. Then we also want a proficient federation, where the federation has to understand that they're there to serve the people and they're there to serve the clubs, not to be seen to be just directing them and telling them this is what you need to do. Yes, you control the rule books and things of that sort, but then you're there servant leadership. You should be seen to manifest a leadership where you're serving the people. We've talked about players' welfare. That is the medical and insurance scheme. Last time it was just the medical fund, but now we also talk about insurance scheme. I've seen other countries done it, and I made research, and I even in fact contacted some insurance companies here, where we will have an insurance scheme for the players. So for the first and second division clubs, you have 1,680 players, which could even be reduced, because our new proposal is to reduce the number of senior players for each team. Instead of the 30 players that the federation tells you, each club register 30 players. Now what do you do with your junior team? So what we are now proposing is every club will register 25 senior players and 75 junior players.
Okay.
Because if you look at England, Italy, and all these other countries, you have 25 senior players and an open gate to bring as many players. That's why Arsenal brings their young players to the FF Cup. So you see in Italy, you see players with 99. People don't understand the rationale because they bring in the youngsters. So you come with your number. So what this does is it helps you to maintain your young team, because Italy has this primavera.
Yeah.
When you maintain your young players in a case where you can claim training compensation and solidarity, and these players would not tell you, yeah, I'm just in the academy, I'm not getting playing time, I need to leave. So by the time they transfer to big clubs, you have the data, you can come and claim your training. So we are trying to bring in sustainable mechanisms. That is one. And two, you're exposing the young players to league competition at the age of 14 and 15. So when you're selecting under 17, even though you're going to go around, but all these academies, even in the league, you can select a player who has league experience because he's probably played 1 or 2 matches, or he's training with a big team. You understand?
I know.
So that is something that we've done a research, and we're trying to bring in. Then people will not lose their money, so you can maintain your young players, and then you can also make money. And then the under 17, you can select players from that age who have that experience. And then the CSR, which is the final one, corporate social responsibility, because the United Nations and all these other institutions have their programs, Fistula, FGM, and all these programs. Why can't you go and meet them and try to do an advocacy program where the sensitization could happen with women's football?
Exactly.
The funding is there, but you have to have a good concept
program to tap it.
To tap it in. As my, like somebody who runs a printing press, I've done printings for UNFPA where they're doing, advocacy with Fistula, FGM, and they will print jerseys, organizing football matches that the GFF doesn't even know about. So why don't you go and tap in it?
Exactly.
I don't ever remember the GFF organizing any program where the national team players have come from a game, maybe they've won, and they've asked them to go to the hospital, maybe to go to the children's hospital and motivate those youngsters, or you understand, do a signing. So these are some of the things because we want to rebrand and remodel and bring football to the people and the people to football, like Infantino said.
Yeah. And finally, I was going to ask about the national team. You just brought them. How are you going to? How would you manage the national team? We've seen that there have been always frictions between national team and federations, and some attitudes, attitudinal moves that people have really not disagreed with, or we have seen the federations calling national team players or the team rebellious, getting rebellious, or blackmailing, or maybe complaining about bonuses not being paid. That kind of situations. How are you going to handle that?
It's all got to do with transparency. The players are with the assumption that the federation has received the money. They have not given us our money. You cannot make promises you cannot keep. You make promises you can keep. If you promise them, they've not asked for anything they were never promised.
But then there is this assumption that it should come from government when it's a national team.
Government provides funding. That's why I'm saying. But why are you promising things you have not gotten yet? When before you promise them, engage the government. Because what happens is the federation hardly gives the government their budget for the year. Federation knows how many games they're going to play in a year, give or take.
Yeah, of course.
Whether it's Djibouti or it's China or whatever, you know.
Already.
Even if the fixtures are not out, take the farthest place.
Exactly.
Because the budget is give or take. You say, okay, we have 8 matches, and 8 matches, roughly each match is going to cost us 20 million. You do the calculation and then you present it to the Ministry of Youth and Sports. They put it in their budget that they will present to the government. So when government is funding, they take cognizance of that. But if you don't do that and the ministry presents the budget that they have, because they have other programs, basketball, wrestling and all these things, and youth sector, the NYSS and all of that, they present their budget and they get, for instance, 140 million. And GFF's budget for national team alone is 140 million.
Wow.
How can they give you all the 140 million? So half of the time government goes out of its way to get the money for you and provide it for you. But what we are going to do is to have a national team department, not just a national team manager. A whole national team where those people's job will solely be working on national team issues. See, you cannot have a very
that's
good
why they have a
national
team manager, isn't it?
He's just one manager. You cannot have a good national team
without they have a press director, they have a press.
No, those are staff.
Okay, they're still using you.
Those
want
are
a
staff.
separate department for national team.
That's the attention we want to give the national team. Even when it comes to traveling and things of that sort. You have an idea of what games are coming, make inquiries and things like that. You start planning early. It's early planning, but it's the national team the national team manager who has done phenomenally well over the years. Joe has done really well because he came in there as a young person, built himself up to the point where he is today. So kudos to him. You understand? But there needs to be a national team department to take the national team serious. Some of the challenges we're facing is because it's the little attention that is given to the national team.
Let's talk now about the campaigns of the two opponents you have. Musa Jame, when he was here, I told him, people said, you were ready. Otherwise, why do you wait until 3 months into the business you came up? You have been prepared last minute by Team Kababa, who wanted to use you as a tool. He was not happy. He said, well, the last thing I want to hear is for anybody to think that I will be a tool to anybody. I'm a person of my own who is capable of making my own decisions. If you had worked with that gentleman, do you think people who said he's been used as a tool, they have a valid point?
He's my opponent, so I wouldn't want to make any comments about. I don't want to, out of respect for him. He's an opponent, and I don't want to say anything about Musa Jame. He has his reasons why he's coming out late, even though their manifesto is yet to be out. We're waiting to see his manifesto, but I wouldn't want to comment on people's perception towards him, out of respect.
What about Kemo Sise?
Same thing. I mean, Kemo has been out for a long time, huh? He has been out for a long time, actually.
He's
but the
the one
same.
who made his intention much earlier.
Yeah, Kemo made his intention 2022. Yeah, Kemo was speaking to someone. I was seated when the phone was on speaker, and he said he's coming in 2026. Okay. Out of respect for him too, I wouldn't want to comment on that, but it's the same thing, but his intention was made known earlier.
But you can't even tell me why you think your campaign is better than all of them.
I am better prepared. I have better programs and policies, and I believe I have the football administrative acumen that my opponents don't have.
Let's talk about stakeholders. We talk a lot here about stakeholders of football being larger than the actual people who come to vote. How connected are you to the people who vote? Because at the end of the day, they matter. We could say here, talk about all the lofty ideas you have, but at the end of the day, those who are going to make sure that you are in office and the others are not. So are these 77 delegates or 74 in this case? How connected and confident are you that this time round you will get the majority of them on your side?
We are very optimistic, and anybody who goes into elections stays optimistic until the end, because you only rely on people's promises. Like I tell people, it's just like giving somebody a check. It depends if the check will be honored at the bank or it will bounce. So it is your word that you give me that I will take to the election day. If it bounces, I realize that the check that you gave me is a bounce check. But we are very optimistic, and we've been doing engagements and consultations with the stakeholders. We learned from our, I wouldn't call it mistakes, we learned our lessons from the last elections, where you were seeing public endorsements, videos coming out, or this team Restore has traveled to this place and they've met. No, we are not doing that, because we feel that is where maybe the leadership would counter us in terms of going to negotiate behind the scenes, talk to their parents or talk to their family to try to change the idea. But you would understand, because we knew we were going to lead up to the election when we got audio, when they were in the hotel. That's the last time. That's when we realized that we were not going to win. Because during that audio, they made a roll call, and the exact number that was there was the exact number that had beaten us. So we are confident in the sense.
So up to the last minute, you were very confident that you had the majority.
Yes.
But then the last minute, there was a conspiracy. Allegedly, people were called.
Yeah, they were called into a hotel, and what happened.
They were given inducement. So what?
People were called there, and whatever happened, I was not there physically. We were just listening to.
But
the
people
audio
just changed.
People changed, which is which we respect, because it's their choice. But I'm sure most of them have now realized that these people have promised them breakfast, didn't deliver, lunch no, dinner no. So what else can you bring? After all these 12 years, let GFF show us. GFF should be able to show us something to say this is the reason why we want to continue, or why we want to bring in somebody else.
Somebody to continue.
If you ask me,
but they had
out of respect for Musa,
if I had a lot of success in the.
Like
I mean,
what?
we've been to the Cup of Nations twice. You yourself were part of the coordination committee that the government put up to oversee the, the transportation and logistics in Cameroon, and particularly in Cameroon. So that's quite a success.
Okay. See, if success is a package, if you're doing exam and you pass 1 or 2 questions, does not mean you've succeeded. No, it has to be things that you've promised as per the manifesto. The qualification to AFCON was there, that they want to qualify the team to AFCON.
If the first one was coincidental, the second one is definitely solid achievement.
What would you call it now that we couldn't qualify?
Well, this time we didn't succeed, but there were effort, not because of lack of effort. Not because of lack of effort.
It shows that, it clearly shows that when the federation works with the government, we will get to where we want. Ask me why. Because when government started chartering flights and giving more money, it made it easy for us to qualify. Prior to that, we were not getting that amount of resource. We were not getting that amount of money. But when government started chartering flights, flying to Gabon, you remember the plane flight to Gabon, flying to DR Congo, government started spending money. So credits to the government. So it shows that we should collaborate with government. Yes, they succeeded because it was during their term. But then now, what would you call it now that they couldn't qualify? And also, you cannot use...
People blame lack of home matches as well.
You cannot use...
And that can
the second AFCON. The second AFCON, there were no home matches.
Okay.
Because Yankuba Minte went to the second AFCON, there were no home matches. If you want to use that yardstick to measure the success in our football, I mean, you will make a mistake, in my opinion.
But but we went to the Cup of Nations anyway. You cannot change that.
No. I said yeah. I said if you want to use that, I said success is a package, and that side we were successful, and to be able to succeed in that, we even had to get government to work with us for government to bring in the revenue. Hadn't been government was not giving us the amount of resources that we need, we wouldn't. Now, if you look at it again, how many players had new contracts after we went to AFCON? When Senegal went to World Cup, after that was when things boomed.
A floodgate of...
Fadiga went Premier League, El Hadji Diouf here, Andy Kamara there.
They were already there in the Premier League before the World
Cup. No. Check a good number after the World Cup. That's when most of them had big
floodgates, yes.
So that's what I'm saying. Now, if we play in the Cup of Nations, and then we have players that have got new contracts after that, I don't remember any of our players who had new or improved contracts. Even if there was, it will be 1 or 2. It's the performance there. We did a very good performance up to quarterfinals. It shows you that alone is not what you call success. What is happening with the ecosystem back here? It's just those players who went to the AFCON. But how many young players are here who believe that they should be able to play football and put food on the table for themselves or their parents, and yet They are unable to do that. They are not getting their salaries, not because the teams don't want to do it. The teams are struggling with that. So a successful football ecosystem is having an economically viable local league, a proper grassroots structure where there'll be more employment. Now, imagine if 1,680 players were all getting their salaries from all these teams. That data alone being provided to the Ministry of Youth and Sports is data that they can use anywhere to say, there's this much of job in the country, so you have no reasons to go back way.
Okay, talking about that, they say your campaign is supported or certainly has a sympathy of government.
The minister bought in my idea and that of my team, that is Team Restore Confidence. We sold our agenda to him, and obviously what the minister wants, he looked at the manifesto, and what we want is to have a federation that aligns itself with what government wants. And obviously that's what the government wants. I've just told you now, if you, for instance, show people that you've created a league that is employing 1,680 youths, that is good data for the Ministry of Youth and Sports, no? So if ministry is obviously injecting that amount of money, taking people to China, giving monies to these zones and parks to be able to develop their parks, they have that duty of care. What are you giving them in return? So it's the programs and policies that we've presented to minister to show to him that this is what we intend to bring. And we were the first to do that. So we presented the manifesto. He read it and it looked very good to him. It's not like it's his personal. He believes this is something that will push government's agenda. And you know, we have the minister's support.
You think that will translate into government support?
Government support is important. When I say it's important, government doesn't go and vote.
Absolutely.
What we need government for is for them to see that we're here to complement their efforts. You're talking about the youths not being employed. You're talking about the ecosystem being in such a way that people are not even interested to participate. What we want to do is to control that sector, to ease the burden on government in that area.
You mentioned there was an...
So that is not stopping us from meeting the stakeholders. Ask any of the most... I don't meet any stakeholder and tell them government is asking you to back me. I talk to them as the leader of Team Restore Confidence. The government support is to see to it that when we win, inshallah, the ideas that we bring in, we implement them.
Okay.
But it doesn't mean government is going to vote.
Absolutely. But they could use some influence on the voters. Said, well,
really?
You know what?
You tell me how, and then I can use that.
You told me there was an assumption that Kaba Bajo was, Jammeh's.
But that was Jammeh's tenure. I mean, I remember the second meeting.
If it worked for Kaba, why wouldn't it work for Kaba?
I remember if this was Jammeh's time, and you know, if this was Jammeh's time, and Jammeh wants me to be there,
you would have been there. At all costs. Yeah. Okay, Sadibou, finally, what would you tell the stakeholders? Because I said they are important, the Gambian public, finally, as Team Restore Confidence's message to people.
So Jam, thank you. There's a young Gambian who grew up dreaming that Gambian football should be able to match what the other countries have. And that dream never died, because he believes if other countries are able to do it, we should be able to do it. Opportunities were there for that same young man to go and embark on certain activities that would generate him more revenue. He chose to stay. He spent 13 years volunteering in a club where he was never paid 1 cent. The only time he has ever received money maybe was when we went to the CAF Interclub Championship and everybody was paid $100. And even the money we used to go to AFCON, to the CAF Interclub Championship, it was that individual who negotiated for the club to have received that money. That same individual gave all his time, energy, and good chunk of his resource to see to it that Gambian football develops. He vied for the position in 2022. He was unable to win because the stakeholders wanted somebody else. That didn't deter him. He stood the test of time, did what he could. He stayed in the ecosystem, whether it was capacity building, supporting grassroots football, or associating himself with all these other clubs to see to it that Gambian football develops in his own way. He has helped facilitate the transfer of young players who today have not only transformed their lives but the social realities of the communities where they come from. He waited another 4 years, and during that time he managed to keep his team together despite all the challenges, despite everything other people have done to try and dismantle the team, he stayed true to the cause because he believes football is not a side activity, because it's a passion that unites us. It's a source of national pride and a very powerful engine for economic growth. He comes today and stands in front of you with a manifesto called the Starting 11, which is not 11 players, but 11 problems he believes can transform Gambian football, and tells you this document is not a mere document, but a contract between his team and you, the Gambian people, to say this is what we want to deliver. If we don't deliver, you know what to do. You come after us. And we believe with every fiber of our being that we can deliver that. That is Sadibou Kamaso, the leader of Team Restore Confidence, who is here today to tell you that in August 2026, the 29th to be specific, we want you to kindly give us your votes with a resounding mandate so we can transform Gambian football together and move it from where it is today. Restore confidence, bring in sustainability so we can bring football and its benefits to the doorstep of every Gambian.
Well, nobody else can put it so aptly than the man himself. Sadibou Kamaso, head of Team Restore Confidence and aspirant for August the 29th Gambia Football Federation presidential election. Thank you very much for sharing your program with the Brunch. And we thank you all, wherever you were watching us from, for being on the Brunch. The Brunch will be back next week. All we can do is wish Sadibou very good luck.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yo, nata sandirola. Alla manulu basmati rice, white rice.
White rice.
Bara fana mbela fela kilin. Kade. Anin kulo fana mbela fela kulo fana.
So money bought of 50 kilo jam is 1,600. Uli kilin kema wo. La yona da money ni kema.
Wallahi. Wala na bota na.
So isi joro ke na. Hani cash buka tari di. Yalla man ngi kullu defen. Ila yona wala to. Ye bolta doro ya nakini mbala doro. Ye kulo jo asa tari kono konti de mamma.
Ndesani na kamera.
Bata, eba kamera. But
Yo.
Ata.
Apare.
Ha, saibe amanto ni kele. Kodo amanto. Sila yele. So li refta, ndesi physical residu li la jam, residu fana be bulu jam me. But sai kan baranga mul kuma ni la yene ma ko yela.
Taxi mano, mbak.
Looking for the perfect home away from home in the Gambia? Welcome to BC's Residence, your ideal short-stay apartment in the heart of Bundum. Whether you're visiting for business, pleasure, or an extended stay, BC's Residence offers you the comfort, convenience, and privacy you deserve. Enjoy spacious, well-appointed accommodations in a peaceful neighborhood just behind Nusrat High School. Our residence combines modern amenities with authentic Gambian hospitality, ensuring your stay is both comfortable and memorable. At BC's Residence, you are not just booking a room, you're finding your perfect base to explore all that the Gambia has to offer. Ready to book your stay? Contact us today. +220-941414. BC's Residence at gmail.com. BC's Residence, Bundum, behind Nusrat High School. Your comfort is our priority.
Ja Oil ñoom ñoo jiitu si wàllum jaay essence si biir réew mi te ñu def ko warugal pour kontaan loo suñu client yi borom moto yi ak driver yi seen jaaxare jeex na léegi pour am essence bu baax ak njëg bu yomba lii sax moo tax ñu amal leen banxaas fépp si biir réew mi pour essence bu baax bu set benn place rek la muy Ja Oil soo soxlae essence bu set essence bu baax gasoil wala kérosine naa la wax ne Ja Oil rek mooy jëmukaay ga doxantul rek si bépp banxaasi Ja Oil nga am si bànneex ak Ja Oil seen bànneex mooy suñ taxawaay moo tax ñu amoon leen banxaas bépp si biir réew mi nim gën a yombee pour yow ak suñ liggéeykat yu xarañ yi naa la won ne mbégte rek nga see jël pour am essence bu baax pour say machine fenn place rek la mooy sa Ja Oil ak Ja Oil bànneex kese la moo tax sax suñ station si nekk ca Costa Road ak Banjul wàññil nañ leen njëgi essence bi foofu noonu pour am si lu leer mun ngaa call si 770-8080 322-9070 714-7273 wala 787-1321 Ja Oil, the pride of the nation.
Jamano Money Transfer Bureau de Change, your go-to option when it comes to money transfer. With Jamano, you can send money from anywhere in the world to your family and loved ones in the Gambia and be sure the funds will be delivered to them within the shortest time possible. For your convenience, funds sent through Jamano Money Transfer can be picked from all the banks and multiple other financial institutions, including Ajib Bank, Trust Bank, GT Bank, Mega Bank, Basic Bank, Reliance Financial Services, and Approved Services. Visit our head office at Bruceby opposite AfricMed next to Trust Bank Limited or email us at info@jamanomt.com. You can as well call us on 310-3050 or 310-3051 or yet still 733-0688. Our opening hours are 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday to Saturday and 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sunday. Jamano Money Transfer, your most trusted money transfer service where customer satisfaction is paramount. When you think of a simple, fast, and reliable money transfer, think Jamano Money Transfer.
Agada.
Mbijan aganyani.
Albaka.
Mbaka important.
Yo, nga transfer la sto.
Ya transfer la sto.
Ha, code nyingi.
Okay. What's that? Nsila ID soto.
Ah, that's sorry. Agada.
Mbijan bro.
Albaka.
Mbaka.
Bara alla service o tariaka.
Ah,
mbale. Mo ki janna nun kunu bara tariaka.
Ah, jannom yona forest de bureau. Gambia tonkon na no mbali ya bere. Ha. Birin koyna fo kato.
Bari si kodo kino kato ni fo bolong blabe.
56 branches mola soto Gambia jam.
Ha?
Ha. Gambia kono ani Gambia bantala bankol. Nko kodo kiya bere. Kodo sifa fo falindiro fo nyaadi lafta memmen na kodi topoto nin kodi maraw. Jannom number 1 ti nyonta. Andum fana nata anoda enterprise sotale. Wolam nyindi ko domorol fana kol fana be firale de dadi ma nin domorol dil fana beteata. Gambia dawda yalo ma kumfa kendol sotale je.
Ha, wo moyo diat. Ha.
Apelenta
baraka. Ni ma lafta nyelen kendo le bina.
Yalo bukani la ko la baraka ba.
Yalo ndel chosano lo.
Abaraka.